This guy's called the Standing Streamer.
From Wrestling with Regret, and you're watching Putting You Over.
Boom. Boom. And we're live. I think we're live. We seem live. How's it going, everybody? This is Putting You Over. My name is the Standing Streamer, and tonight on the show, we're going to have independent wrestler Tony Deppen. He's going to be on at about 9:15. Talk to him about all things Deppen. I just realized I'm using Zoom now, so I actually don't have to call him. He's just going to jump in. Oh, there he is. Look at that. And he's up on the screen. Look, he just hopped right in. He was there before I sent it.
Hello.
Oh, where's my headphones? Can you hear me, Mr. Deppen?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Awesome. So did the link work, or did you literally get that one I just sent you in like record speed?
It didn't work, so then I just downloaded the Zoom app and then just typed in the
ID and stuff.
Numbers.
Yeah, the ID.
Number meeting. I
usually use the ID when I can. The ID numbers and the passwords. I use Zoom a lot for work and stuff. I work with kids, so I have to always call into them and whatnot. Anyways. But you're on the show. I talked about the thunderstorms you have rolling in. So if connection's shoddy or it's not panning out, because I like to represent you as best as I possibly can, we can fold it and we can.
I probably shouldn't have too many problems because like right now my internet got something from the storm yesterday. Now I'm on my data now. So
gotcha. You got one of those. I hope you got one of those.
I shouldn't have a problem.
Yeah, data should hold you strong. So thanks for coming on.
No problem. Yeah. I haven't done a podcast or anything. Seems like forever.
Yeah. And with this, the world that, I'm not even going to touch on one part of it, but the COVID stuff for the independent wrestlers, it's you're home, you're doing nothing. Or you're learning new skills. What have you been doing to pass the time?
A whole lot of nothing.
I
took a part-time job just to keep myself occupied. That's about it.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Got my wife knocked up. The normal thing.
Just the normal stuff. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna say this, and I'm not quite sure my wife would know much more on this. Is it far along where you can find out the sex, 1, and 2, are you going to?
We already found out the sex.
Okay. And boy or girl? Or do you not want to tell? Boy. Look at that. Yep. Little Deppen.
Yeah, we took a pregnancy, or it was some kind of test. I don't know that, it's called Sneak Peek.
Yeah,
we can find out as early as 8 weeks to find out the sex of our baby.
Wow.
So we found out at 15 weeks. So.
Wow. I have 3 daughters of my own, and for the first 2, we didn't find out the sex, and then for the third one, we did because the older two daughters really wanted to know. So
My wife and I are too impatient, so
yeah. I'll tell you, I thought I would be that way too. And for the first kid, like for the initial part of the pregnancy, it's really frustrating. Like you just want to know, you want to go prepare, you want to get this and that. And then once you get over this hump, it's like smooth sailing. But that's awesome. So you have a boy. So congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah, good for you. Man, that's gonna switch things up. That's gonna be exciting though. Good times. You made your debut, I believe, in 2009. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember where.
You are correct.
I am correct. But I have, since researching you, so you debuted in 2009, but you were a backyard wrestler like most of us were.
Yeah.
And so how do you make that leap from backyard wrestling to this is like I want to train, like I want to do this?
Well, I honestly just did it because all of my friends started doing independent wrestling, and I still wanted to wrestle. I had no ambition before to do independent wrestling, and then I was just like, well, all my friends are doing it, and I want to wrestle still. So around like 2008, I went and got trained and went from there. And plus, like everybody I knew from backyard wrestling, that like Ricky Shane Page and like the Drew Cordero who owns Beyond, stuff like that, they're all my backyard friends. So I had connections leading into it. And then Matt Nix that runs freelance out in Chicago. So
Beyond is where I first stumbled upon you. Well, I stumbled upon you for Synergy too. It was the Fubar episode that they put out on Fight. I stumbled upon you there, but when I watched that, I said to myself, I know that kid from somewhere. I know him, and I was right. It was Beyond. It was a gauntlet type tournament thing. Discovery Gauntlet, and that is where I first saw you, and then I remembered that I had saw you in Synergy, and man, that Beyond stuff you were doing was just insane. It was intense. When I was watching you, and I said to my brother, I said, Eric, who does this wrestler remind you of? And he's watching you, and he's like, I don't know. Stupid question. Why are you asking me, Kevin? Stupid. I go, doesn't he remind you of like a Dean Malenko? Or
some my favorite wrestler ever. So
well, the reason we said it was because now I apologize. I am a short stature fella myself. But the reason I made that correlation was I found you very technical and, short, like Dean Malenko, basically. So he was your favorite wrestler growing up?
Yeah. Now, see, unfortunately, I got my mother's height. That's why I am only 5'9". My father's 6'6".
Oh, man.
So all my brothers are 6 foot. I'm not. I'm 5'9". So
what do your brothers do?
Dean Malenko was my favorite growing up. So
yeah,
that's a compliment to me, huge compliment.
How many brothers do you have?
2.
You have 2?
I'm the youngest.
And you're the youngest. Was it a big wrestling family when you were growing up?
We all liked watching wrestling, and both my brothers did independent wrestling too. One no longer does it because he's going to be 37, I think.
Yeah.
And the other one, he does it occasionally. He has 3 kids, so, not a lot of time.
No, there's not. It's not a lot of time. I usually have more prep time. I usually have a nice dry erase board, but my kids have let all the markers dry out, so I can't use them. So that, I think I already said it. That's what I'm looking at on my phone or all my notes. So 2005 backyard, you go in to train. Where do you go to train with all your friends?
I wouldn't even call it training. It's some local place called PCWA.
Yeah.
And I got trained in an old abandoned church. We had a ring in there, and the place was a shithole. The church, like, it had no plumbing, and like they used to run shows there, and it did have plumbing at the time. And then over time, they stopped taking care of it. So like, there's just like old dried up shit and piss all over the bathrooms and stuff like that. Like, you couldn't go to the bathroom there ever.
No, that's where poor COVID probably originated. So you probably are immune from it, actually, if you wrestled through there and survived.
Probably.
That's interesting to me, though. Like, wrestling is it's a sport, And it's weird to me when you said it. Like you can just go anywhere and learn to wrestle. Like it's not like you go to North Carolina, you perform well, you get drafted to the NBA. Like in wrestling, when you try to get booked places on the indie scene or somebody notices you, does where you train and where you go to learn the craft influence that?
It's helpful if
Yeah,
anything. Like, but my personal opinion is like it doesn't matter where or who trained you. It's how you apply to what you learned.
yeah,
I have friends that were trained by CM Punk,
yeah.
and nobody knows who they are. So like, and it's not knocking him at all. It's just
Right,
like he just didn't apply it properly.
right.
Like I was trained by a nobody.
Yeah.
Like I was trained by my friends, Andy Harner and Aaron Arbo. Yet here I am making a living off of wrestling. So like, I just applied what I learned, and then I did seminars and just rest. I learned from just doing it. Like I don't like. I think it's a little redundant sometimes, like for people to have some form of training, like and like they just sit there like force you to practice bumps,
Yeah.
like just bump, bump, bump. Oh, okay, now do a front flip bump, and like that's the type of training that I had because like most of these guys didn't know anything, like so I just kind of like learned as I wrestled, and that's the best way to do it because that's how they did it way
Yeah.
back. Like there's like, hey, get in the car with me, kid. You're gonna learn. And that's what I did. I just learned as I went, and
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty decent.
You're doing, yeah, fairly good in my mind. Yeah, but that makes sense to me. Like you can do all the training, all the bumps in the world that you want. You can know how to technically do. Now I can't do any of these, so as I say them, I can't do any of them. You could technically do a picture perfect drop kick or arm drag or whatever the case may be. But until you actually go out and do it, get in the ring, get in front of people and perform, that's really where you're going to learn to hone your craft. Would be my assumption.
Exactly. That's like I would wrestle in front of kid friendly crowds all the time, and
Yeah,
like and that's where I learned to really grasp the character part of me wrestling, where it's like constantly like talking shit on against people. Like fans say something, I say something back quick to them and stuff like that. Like that's where I learned that by just wrestling small time places in front of a bunch of kids. Like you couldn't curse, you couldn't tell those kids to go fuck themselves because
yeah. You had to be.
that wasn't what we're doing.
Yeah.
So like I learned just to be very animated through working small time companies.
So okay, so you went to the church full of shit and piss. Um, your debut in 2009. Who was that for?
PCWA
PCW.
at a local
Go ahead.
at a local high school gym.
Hello.
It was uh, I was in a battle royal, a pre-show battle royal. So
Dark Match Battle Royal.
yeah,
Yeah.
which made no sense. Like,
What?
see, that's the thing. Like a lot of kids
Right.
nowadays, when they start out, like they actually get to have matches,
Yeah.
like legit matches. Like when I first started out, you would drive 2-3 hours for a battle royal, and that's it. Never get paid. And these kids are getting one-on-one matches. I didn't have my first singles match until like a year and a half into wrestling. It was all multi-man. So like
Yeah.
people should be thankful today that they started wrestling today, and they can make a hell of a lot more money. Like I remember if somebody asked for, like this was back in 2010, somebody asked for $50. I was like, who does the fuck does this person think he is asking $50? And then the promoter's like, I'm not booking you because you asked for too much money. Now these kids are getting
Yeah.
to start $50. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like I remember the first time when I debuted for On Point in 2015, I didn't even discuss pay because I just wanted the opportunity. So I went, and then the promoter gave me $40. And like I texted my friends that I wrestled back home. I was like, "Yo, guys, I just got $40, and I didn't even ask for it." And it was like, "Are you kidding, man? Like you made it?" Because like we never received money to
Yeah.
wrestle. I was wrestling for
Because you loved it.
6 years before. Yeah, I wrestled for 6 years before I made any legit money. I'd make maybe $20 here. Before that $40, the most I ever made was $25 to do a ladder match.
Now,
So
go. Is that just your nature? Like, is that who you are as a person? You're just like, I want this experience. I want to get my foot in the door, and I'm still this young kid coming up. Who am I to even ask for $50 right off the bat? Is that just you,
That's
or
what it, that was more the nature of the business at the time. Like young kids never got paid. Like
yeah,
you might get $5 here and there, but you never got paid. You never asked for money. So like I was just doing what I thought was supposed to be of wrestling. So I just did it. Am I happy that kids don't have to endure what I went through, of, like, traveling 6 hours for no money and you lost money to go there? It's like, I'm glad they don't have to do that. But in the same sense, I feel like they need a chance to be humble about things and not just like, because if you're coming straight into wrestling making $60, $70,
yeah,
you're already setting the standard pretty high for you. Like,
yeah,
I've heard kids talk to me in this, like, this is what I asked for, but they never wrestle, and I can see why, because they're asking for too much. Like, just work your way into that money. Like, I'm not saying you're not worth it, but just eat shit a little bit. Like, eat some shit sandwiches before you get to have filet mignon. Like, that's what I did for so long. So
yeah.
not everybody has that route. Like, but everybody has a different journey in wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, everyone does. Like, look where you are now, and like you had just told me. So you went 6 years without, making a buck for it, just based on the love, and you're fairly successful. I mean, I can say that, right? You're successful. I would call you successful, right? You
Been
make,
making a living off
yeah,
wrestling for the past almost
yeah,
a year.
yeah. So that's successful in my book, and and it took you a while, like over 10 years, and then you can go another route, like gosh, MJF. Who else? Leo Rush.
Well, I was supposed to do like ROH and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like, so like
April, right?
I was supposed to, then I got rescheduled, and it got rescheduled again, and now I haven't heard anything. But I'm still in the talks with the people from there. So like, but like that, like, I'm doing well. It sucks that I'm not wrestling and making any money, especially with baby coming. But I have a few shows in June and July, so
Yeah, you
I don't
have a
know.
big show in July, the First Responders Charity Show for Synergy.
Yep, I have that one, and then like I just got booked in where the hell is it? Michigan today. So
Who's that
out
one
there.
for?
So I think Zero Pro, I believe.
Yeah, oh, I think I've heard of them. Um, gosh, yeah. So that's exciting. Yeah, but so you were supposed to debut for Ring of Honor in April. So that's right about the time things just started getting, like you said, postponed, pushed back a month, because nobody knew what was going on. And of course, WrestleMania weekend, which just really sucked balls, because I went to WrestleMania not this year, last year, and the independent scene on that whole weekend from like Thursday to Monday is just amazing. The amount of shows and the amount of places you can work, and the money you can make, and the exposure you can get. The exposure you can get was the biggest downfall, I would think, for that weekend. But so what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so your first match, a Royal Rumble on a dark match. What was that experience like? What was the feeling like?
I I really hated it. Like, like they're telling us like, because a bunch of these older guys are like, don't you dare plan any spots for this battle royal. And my friend and I, we went out and planned like a bunch of spots and just did our spots while everybody was like just punching and choking each other. And we got in the back and they're screaming at us, and I was like, I really don't give a fuck. Like,
There you go.
because they always say to kind of, shut your mouth when you first start, but I wasn't like that. It's like, no, I'm not doing this to get punched and beat up. Like, I'm just I love wrestling. I'm not gonna do a half-ass match. Like, it doesn't work that way. So like,
Yeah.
I got to do some spots in that match. I got yelled at for it, but whatever.
Go big or go home, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny. I've talked to several wrestlers on here, and I started asking them like, what was that feeling? What was the feeling like inside you for that first time you were in a match? Was nobody has ever given me a they're like, you're like, oh, I hated it. Someone else goes, I don't remember anything from it, and I don't think I would ever watch it. No, I can't recall anybody having a good experience. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
in theory it's a good experience, but you know what I mean.
My thing was, it's just like, it was a local shindy company, and a lot of the guys weren't trained. They weren't good, and and I'm not saying like I was amazing, but I was a lot better than some of the guys that were on the main card with regular matches.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm in a battle royal. Well, there's a guy that doesn't know how to run the ropes or do a move correctly, yet he has a match. Like, and then we tore the ring down. Like, we had to get out of there in like 20 minutes, and like 7 of us tore down the ring while all these old fat guys were laughing and watching us, like that were wrestlers.
Oh man.
Like, yeah, fuck off. Like,
I don't know if I'd be cut out for that. Oh man. That's rough. So for the people in the chat tonight, and then we'll push this out to YouTube as well. Why don't you describe, if you can, it's kind of a generic question, but why don't you describe the character, who Tony Deppen is in the ring, the character, the style?
a sarcastic, abrasive asshole, I'd say.
There you go. There's a shirt.
Like, like I never had, like, I can flip the switch and be really aggressive and just not try to say anything funny, or I could just be like, oh well. Somebody said, like, I remember the one time a fan said something to me, and like I instantly said something right back, and he's like, how the fuck do you hear everything? Like, I just like, it was just something really witty and funny, like,
Yeah.
or I try to be humorous, and I'm very animated with my facial expressions.
Yes.
That's what a lot of people always enjoy about me the most. Like, dude, your facial expressions are great. Like, I had somebody at PWG, like, this fan, like, are you an actor by any chance? I was like, no, why? Like, your facials are just out of this world. And I was like, oh, thanks. Like,
Yeah,
I try.
the expression, excuse me, right there, I cut you off a little, but the expressions that you have in your face, especially someone like you, is just as important as a drop kick. It's part of your arsenal, and you've mastered that skill, in my opinion.
I do less now than I did when I first started, and I'm getting paid way more because like my facial expressions are like just the way that I react to certain things is like tiny things. And Mikey from Black Label, he just said to me, he was like, Tony, out of everyone I know, he's like, I love you the most because he's like, it's small important things that you do. He's like, just the way you sell stuff, the way you move. Like, it's not I can't do a lot of moves. Like, actually, well, I don't do a lot of moves. I can, but I just don't. Like, I just worry about other things in my match. But like, I don't do the most insane moves. I don't do flips and stuff like that yet. Somehow I'm able to still make a living, which is awesome.
And I've seen you in all sorts of matches with all sorts of different opponents that have different styles than you, I guess. And you can adapt to most of them, or all of them actually. So that's how I would describe your style, I guess. Like when I first saw you, I was like, this kid knows his stuff. It's like a Malenko. But I have also seen you adapt and change and evolve to the match. It's almost like a different wrestler every time you're in the ring, which is interesting. It's fun.
Well, I think that's why GCW utilizes me a lot with when newer guys come in, I wrestle them because I can adapt to those styles. Like I can run a lucha style match. I could run a technical style. If you want to do strong style, I could do that. If you want to do a bunch of flashy stuff, I could do that. Like, so like,
yeah,
I think that's why GCW gives me those opportunities, and just I'm that person for them, just because they know I'm going to be able to compliment them because I'm very well versed in wrestling, like a lot of styles. And it's not like I don't ever label myself as a hybrid wrestler because everybody wants to say they're a fucking hybrid wrestler. Most people aren't.
yeah.
But
it's like the stretch wing in basketball. Everyone wants to be a stretch four.
Yeah, like I've watched hours upon hours of wrestling, of different genres of wrestling. Like, I can apply my stuff because it's just of the studying I've done.
Someone in the chat, Virtual Basement, says Tony Deppen would need a lot of facial mocap for his expressions if he was in a video game. Just saying. That's interesting. Yeah. Hey, those facial expressions, they make the world. Views on intergender wrestling.
I love it. I've only done wrestled Willow and Solo Darling at Shikara, which I wish we got to do more, but it was only like 6-7 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
I wrestled with Kylie Ray at in a 5-way in freelance, which we very minimal that we got to do because it was a 5-way, so not going to get much action out of that. But I would love to have singles matches with a woman because I feel like my aggressive nature that I am, like I'm also an asshole. Like it could make a really good story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when I wrestled with Kylie, she came out because she's a surprise person, and she came out, she started hugging all the wrestlers in the match, and then she went to give me a hug, and I just put my middle finger right in her face, and then we did something, and then I just gave her a pump kick to the face, and crowd was like, "Are you kidding me?" Then we just ran the match.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd have a lot of fun working with a female, and I always just when I wrestled solo, I was like, "Hey, when you hit me, I was like, just hit me as hard as you can." She's like, "Okay," and she kicks really hard, so it wasn't enjoyable. I was supposed to wrestle a Fisto in Canada, but she got hurt, so we weren't able to do that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I like intergender wrestling. I think I think that's the key. I think what I like about it most is if you can give me a story. If there's a story
Yeah,
between it, obviously all great matches or builds or angles, got to have that great story. But for some reason, I think I get invested a little more. I don't know, and I always want the girl to win for some reason. I think it's because I have 3 daughters now. I always,
yeah.
but
I'll be honest. At first, back in 2010, I really didn't like intergender wrestling because I just I was watching one where there's the guy just beat the shit out of the woman in the match. And I was just that's all it was. There was no
yeah,
story behind it. I was like, this is just too much for me. This is almost to the point I feel like
yeah,
it's not what I want to be watching right now.
no,
But then as I started seeing more matches that weren't just senseless beatings, I was like, okay, this is a lot better. A
yeah,
lot more enjoyable.
yeah, definitely. Um, what is Well, I guess what is Tony Deppen's goals, his dreams? Once we're all done with this, once we can, well, you're gonna be back in the ring, doing shows in July.
Yeah.
So,
My main goal is
yeah, go
I
ahead.
want to get signed with ROH. That's my main goal. I it sucked because before all the COVID stuff, I could literally taste it. I was like, I'm almost
Yeah,
there. And then I was reading an article that ROH put out, and there's oh, if Tony wins or advances far into the tournament, he'll have more power to negotiate a contract. I was like, wait, what? It was just them probably telling to the story, but the fact that they put that seems like there is interest there, and I still keep in contact with Marty Scroll, and then I had PCO there, and PCO and I are boys. I love PCO, the nicest guy in the world. Brody King,
yeah,
Danhausen, like it was weird because I went to a ROH show in Baltimore because I had a show and I was flying home to Baltimore because I live close to Baltimore. And my wife picked me up and her and her friends picked me. We went up to a ROH show that was literally 10 minutes from the airport. And Zane was on it. He's like, hey, come in the back. All the guys want to meet you. And it was weird going in the back because somebody overheard my name and they no-sold me at first when they walked by me. They didn't even shake my hand. But then somebody's I think Danhausen came. He's like, oh, hey, Tony, how are you doing? And the guy was standing right next to me, turns around and he goes, oh, hey, Tony, what's up? How are you? He just it clicked. He's like, oh, this is Tony Deppen. So and Jeff Cobb's there, and
yeah.
I spent a weekend with Jeff up in Vancouver, and it was just the nicest human being possible. So I have a lot of people that would go to bat for me, which is nice.
That
So
is good.
in the long run, I hope that's where I end up. If not, I don't know. Never WWE, that's for sure. I have never had a desire to go there in my entire life.
Really?
I just looked into. I looked at. I'm a realist.
Yeah.
I'm 5'9".
Yeah.
I'm not big. When I was there was no doubt in my mind I would never be signed to WWE. So
Yeah.
it just never really clicked that I wanted to go there. And plus their values to me is not what I really want.
You have that ROH feel to you, though. The ROH that's out there now, and even ROH is from the past. You have your character, your style, your intensity has that feel to me. So, I really hope they reach back out to you, and I have faith. I think they will.
Yeah, I like I said, I know when everything's back normal and they do run a show again, that I will be on it. It's just when is the biggest question.
Yeah.
So.
You mentioned something earlier, and it triggered a question in my mind. I'm so happy that I remembered to come back to it. You had said, you could do all the flips and whatnot, but you don't. You're thinking about other things in the match, I think was the saying you said, and it made me think. Well, now you're gonna have a kid. You have a kid now at home, and well, you're going to. And how do you think that's gonna change your just your mindset, some of the things you're gonna do and stuff.
If anything, it's just make me try harder.
Yeah.
That's all it's gonna do. Like nothing's gonna change. I'm just gonna be like, okay, now, like for me to get the sign, for me to be signed to ROH, like I have to work harder, and now I'm gonna work harder so my wife and my child, I don't let them down. That's the biggest thing, man. I don't want them down. So like I'm just gonna work harder, and nothing's gonna stop me. Like that's what it is. Like people could say whatever. Like I have people that talk shit on me all the time, and I'm just like, I don't really care because I'm going to work hard and I'm going to get my where I want to be, and I'm not going to use some excuse like some archaic views of rules that were set of wrestling or saying you need to be X, you need to be this. No, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to be a good wrestler, and I'm going to be entertaining. So the second WWE started saying they're entertainment, well, guess what? You can't tell me that everybody needs to be 5'6" or no 6'5" and stuff like that. Like
they don't.
As long as you're entertaining, that is all that matters.
And entertaining, and can tell a story, can talk on the mic. I mean, there's so many other things to wrestling than just Vince's ideal prototype of a 6'7", I think is the number he always uses. 6'7" in muscles, and there's just so much more to it than that, or at least that's my feelings.
Yeah, people always say to me like, "Well, you don't look like you could beat up somebody," or blah blah blah, or people are bigger than you. But like one example I always use, like I just rewatched it with Cain Velasquez, I think it was.
Yeah.
He wrestled Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm Cain Velasquez's size at all.
No.
But like this was Brock at his biggest.
Yes.
Like Brock was really big, and Cain beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
Like Cain didn't look jacked up. Cain just looked like a guy, like a normal person.
He's always looked like that.
Yeah.
Cain.
He didn't look huge, but like he beat the shit out of Brock Lesnar really quick.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't matter like if I look like I can do anything. Like all that matters if I can. And if somebody wants to test me, that's perfectly fine. Like I'm not opposed to fighting. Like, but like I'm not saying I'm a Cain Velasquez like in that type of sense, but like people just need to realize that he wasn't the biggest, but somehow he murdered Brock Lesnar really quick too. And this was Brock Lesnar before he had the stomach problem where he ended up losing a lot of weight.
Yeah. Yeah, but Cain's always looked like that. Nothing like quote unquote imposing. Just had that will, had that drive,
And he hits like a motherfucker.
It's like a motherfucker. Yes, he does. Well, I've never personally been hit by him, nor do I want to.
Not me either. But when you take Brock Lesnar out like that,
you must. Wow. I mean, in the WWE, they are going in some directions, getting behind some people who aren't the biggest. They do try their best with the cruiserweight, which I don't think they do the best of. But what it all boils down to, Vince still has his guys, and his guys are going to be his visions. But it's interesting that you are a realist from what you said, and I think that's refreshing that there's someone out there that thinks like that's not for me. I don't want to do WWE, and this
that was never on my mind. And like everybody's always like, the hot thing right now is AEW. Everybody's like, oh, Tony should go to AEW. It's like not everybody wants to go to AEW. Like I want ROH. That's where I feel like I'd fit in well. I'd be utilized well. That's what I want. But like everybody just wants AEW now because it's the hot thing, and ROH is not like as hot as it used to be. But ROH always goes through these phases, anyways.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to jump on the ship that's already sailing high. They never want to help rebuild this ship. Yeah. Like every wrestler wants to be on AEW. Why doesn't ROH takes care of their guys?
Yeah.
I've been there. I've seen them taking care of their guys. Zayn broke his foot in a match, and when he came in the back, they're like, "Hey, go to the hospital. Send us the bill. We'll take care of it." Like
Wow.
so, like they take care of their people, but people just automatically cancel them out if they want to get signed, like WWE or AEW. But I guess more opportunities for me to get signed with ROH soon.
There you go. I'm going to ask you a question. Hypothetically, I'm going to put you in a triple threat match. It's yourself. I want you to pick your opponents. A wrestler from today, whoever you want, and a wrestler from the past. Who are we going with?
Dean Malenko would be in there.
Yeah.
It'd be Dean Malenko and Mike Quackenbush.
Mike Quackenbush.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a name. Oh, man. Yeah, that would be something else, huh? Wow.
I think that would be our three styles would make for a good match.
Yeah, Mike
like.
Quackenbush
They
is
would
underrated.
they'd obviously carry my ass through the entire match because those guys are fucking amazing at what they do. But I would still love it a lot. It'd be a lot of fun.
How many of those 1,000 holds would Malenko put on in a match? A lot.
He'd have to go against Mike with that. 'Cause Mike used to be the master of 1,000 holds too, in like the mid 2000s.
Yeah. Wow, Mike
So-
Quackenbush. He underrated, man. If I know, I can see D-Rod in the chat here on Twitch. Younger guy. D-Rod, go check out Mike Quackenbush. Just go look him up. Wow, I haven't heard that name in a while.
Watch him versus Claudio Castagnoli,
Yeah.
Cesaro
Yeah.
from 2006 Ted IWA Ted Petty Invitational, I believe it's 2006. I believe.
Awesome.
That match is fucking phenomenal.
There, we all have some homework after the show. Excellent. All right, let's get. I want to. Killer Cross. You were in a match with him. What was that like?
Yeah. At first, I was a little intimidated because Killer Cross is a very big guy,
Yeah.
and I wasn't sure if there'd be an ego about him, because he had a lot of steam and stuff
Yep.
like that. And I got to the show. Originally, I was supposed to wrestle Eddie Kingston, but Eddie Kingston, something happened where Kingston could do the match. And then the night before, they're like, Tony, you're going to wrestle Alex Colon, I believe. And then I got there and like, Tony, Dickinson's deathly sick. He's not wrestling Killer Cross. You're wrestling Killer Cross. Like, what the fuck? I was like, are you kidding me? And then second that Cross got there, we talked and we just hit it off. Just a really nice, down-to-earth guy.
Yeah.
Just great person. He was open to ideas. We bounced things off each other, had a lot of fun with it. And even after he'll randomly say hi to me on the internet, he'll message me, ask me how I'm doing, stuff like that. Real nice person.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. It was a good match too. Great.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. We didn't plan much. We just go hey, let's just do X, 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 and then plug the rest in while we're out there.
That's awesome. You've said a few things tonight that as I've been trying to do this interview stuff with wrestlers, and a couple things I've always noticed is the best wrestlers, or who I think are the best wrestlers, are the ones who like you just said, they don't really overthink things. They go in, do this, and hit their bullet points, and rely on their skill and what they've learned. The wrestlers that characters are close to who they are. How close is your character to who you are as a person? Obviously, you're not good.
100% opposite.
I was gonna say.
100% opposite. I'm very quiet.
Yeah.
I'm look at me. I normally have shorter hair and it's normally nice, but I can't get my hair cut. I wear dorky ass glasses. I'm very quiet.
Hey, glasses are cool. I have these are actually prescription, so I don't wear these just.
Whenever I wear my glasses, people don't realize it's me because I apparently have the Clark Kent effect.
Yeah.
So I've never been somebody who trash talks people. I've never been somebody who makes fun of people. It's
That's
just
weird.
It's just the opposite of who I am. Complete opposite.
So you just turn a switch, huh?
Yeah, and the weirdest thing though is my music hits and the switch hits for me to go, and then the second I come back to the ring or from the ring and as soon as I walk through the curtains, that switch is gone and I can't turn it on again.
That's
I'll have people if a promoter wants me to do a promo, I tell them you have to catch me legit soon as I get in the back. I was so then my personality is still there. Is because if you try to get me when I'm calmed down, like after the match,
Yeah.
you're just gonna get a normal Tony Deppen, an Anthony Deppen, because
Yeah.
that's my real name. So that's all you get, and just like, oh well, yeah, cool.
That's interesting though, and that's also refreshing to hear, and it goes to show a lot of basically how talented you are, and maybe you could be an actor. Maybe you could act.
Yeah, like I would like I grab my balls a lot in the ring. I would never be out in public grabbing my balls. I would never blow snot on anybody. Like I wouldn't like. I've never told anybody to suck my dick, except saying to my wife. That's like the only person I've ever said it to. And I'm out in the crowd telling random people you can suck my dick and stuff like that. Like
Oh,
that's not who I am. Like I just
oh,
I
that's
don't know
great.
what it is. Like I switch on like and
Has
just boom, lights out. Just
always been
all
like
over.
that? Have you always been a sarcastic asshole, suck my dick heel?
Um, when I first started, no, because like I didn't understand
Right.
wrestling. I just assumed that a bad guy was always like, "You guys shut up." Oh, put my hands over my ears when you're clapping or stuff like that. And then over time, I just started like it just really started clicking for me with other things. Like, what really clicked for me uh, at GCW the one time is like when I first came back to GCW in 2016, I think, and the ref screwed up the entire finish, like fuck, complete shit show. And like I was really mad, like I was flipping out, like out of the ring, like screaming, like people were like booing me because like I was a CZW guy at the
Right.
time and coming in there like no boo, blah blah blah, and I just like started running my mouth and I got into the back and I was really pissed off. And the guy doing the camera, he's like, "Yo, Tony, give me a promo." And I just turn around and go, "You want a fucking promo?" And like I just went completely nuts, screaming at the camera, and it goes off. And Janela looks at me, he's like, "Deppen, be like that all the time." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So then the next month, for the GCW show that we did, I tried that, and it just started clicking more and more, and I just started developing it into my own little style because you can only get so far by telling everybody to fuck off.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, like you were saying, you were at those kid-friendly shows and you practiced, coming with your witty comebacks. You just
yeah,
can't swear.
that's where the sarcasm comes
Yeah.
in. Like working those shows, like just always being prepared and just listen to what people are talking about.
Um. Okay, off the wrestling topic for a second. Um. Have you learned any new skills while you've been home with the COVID?
Nope, nope.
That easy, huh? No.
I would all. I love everybody that thinks that they're better than somebody because they're like, well, I've learned to do this
I
during
haven't
COVID.
either.
Yeah, congratulations. I don't care. Like,
Uh,
why did you learn that skill before?
yeah, I haven't learned any either. All I've done
Like,
is
I've been
help.
reading books
Yeah. What have you
about
read
it.
lately?
I'm currently reading "Killing the Territories" about the territory days of wrestling, that they're how they were killed,
Yeah.
and everybody always blames Vince McMahon, but reading into it is like there are more people that were trying to do
Oh,
a nationally syndicated TV show at the time. It wasn't just Vince. There's a lot of people that ran into it. Like
that's
I'm like halfway through it, and then I have to read the new Jack book.
the new Jack
I have
book.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Um, I haven't learned any new skills either. The only thing I've done is teach everybody at my oh gosh, what did they say? What did one of the wrestlers say? My shoot job. I've taught them all, I believe, how to use the internet because I work in the education system. I work with children with autism, and so now we're home, and obviously, and we're trying, and like nobody knew, like they just don't. They're just like they just want their emails. Nobody knew about like Microsoft Teams and how to connect here, and nobody knew about webcams and that you could actually teach someone over the internet. So it wasn't a new skill, but it made me enlighten them. But other than that, I've had enough to do home. I don't even have time to learn a new skill. I have 3 kids. I'm homeschooling them. My wife is here working, and with what she does, she can't be bothered, and so yeah, I'm like you, man. If I want to learn a new skill, I'll learn. I don't need COVID to make me learn a new
Yeah,
skill.
exactly. Like I'm not gonna need a pandemic to learn to better myself.
No.
Like I can do that on time when I have time.
Yeah, exactly. So I was doing some research for you. Do my best to prep. so I could make myself seem semi-professional. And I ran across something. You like craft beer. Correct.
That is
right?
correct.
Yes, some daddy
Yes.
sodas, as I like to say. Now that you can call them daddy sodas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just ICW just advertised me as the new fucking daddy because I'm wrestling Chris Dex, the dirty daddy, and they're like daddy versus daddy. So.
Oh, we're adding that to your gimmick. That's great. So craft beers. All right. So I enjoy the daddy sodas as well. Tonight I don't have any craft beer on hand. I only have Rolling Rock, which is my favorite, but I wouldn't say
That's my friend's favorite. Disgusting.
I get picked on about it all the time, and but I like it, and it's $16 for a 30 pack. So, but what? So craft beer. And where are you located? Because I always think these Synergy wrestlers are in New Jersey, but they're not, are they?
No.
No.
See, everybody thinks I'm close to Philly and that because I wrestle so much in Jersey, but I'm like 2 hours west of Philly. I'm from the Harrisburg area, which for most people that don't know, that's the capital of Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Nobody knows that. Everyone thinks it's Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh or Philly. But I live like 5 minutes from the capital of Harrisburg. So like,
yeah,
that's where I live.
Okay, so what good craft beers are there in the Pennsylvania area? Is there something I can order online? I'm gonna take notes. No, I'm not.
There's a brewery, and they're in like the Williamsport area. They're called New Trail. They put out really good stuff. There's a place near me. It's 10 minutes. They're called Evergreen. They're good. Pizza Boy, which they have good pizza too, which is awesome. But like those are like my main ones that I hit up when things aren't going nuts. I honestly, every time I do a wrestling show, I always, if it's a new city, I always look up a brewery to hit up when I'm there.
Yeah.
I always hit up. Like I've been to like, I think 93 breweries now, which isn't that many, but.
No, but still.
You know.
Yeah. Have you ever made your own beer?
Yeah, my friends are actually in the process of opening up a brewery.
Oh.
So.
Jesus.
Like we just.
Must have missed that.
Yeah,
one.
we a local company called Tattered Flag helps us out a lot and helps us put beer in cans and like, you know, gives us a chance to get some promotion before we actually open up. We're just waiting for all the, like, try to get all the loans, which is the, you know, the money part.
Yeah, the red tape crap. Well, let me know when that stuff comes through because I'll try some of that. That'd be great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, but just, you know, it's just a lot of money to spend. Like, it sucks, but you gotta spend money to make money.
You gotta spend money. Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they tell me. But my wife's been spending it, and I haven't seen any of it. So, so I don't know. You know, I guess that's what happens. You know, I live in a house with four women. I don't see a dime. That's why I have to have the Rolling Rock. I can't buy the craft beer. Have to get the Rolling Rock. Anyways, Mr. Deppen, one thing I love to do on this show is at least do my best to stand by my word. And I always tell people I'll never keep them over an hour. We're approaching that now. So what I'm going to do at the end of every show, what I like to do is give the, not literal, the figurative mic over to you. And you can let us know where you are. Let us know what's happening. You can put over anything you want or bury anyone you want. The floor is yours. The mic is yours, my friend. Go ahead.
I don't bury anybody. I'm too nice of a person to do that. But like, obviously, just follow me on all forms of social media. Instagram, just type in Tony Deppen. So under Insta Deppen, I have my Twitter. It's honestly where I do most of my leg work for anything. I have a Pro Wrestling Tees shirt as well, a Pro Wrestling Tees store as well. It's just a Tony Deppen. I don't know the exact link. It's just type in Tony Deppen and Pro Wrestling Tees. I'm really lazy with some of that stuff. If it were up to me, I wouldn't sell merchandise because I prefer just because like it takes the time away. It's like, you know, so many people, like I'm talking to people and then, you know, somebody else comes up and they're like, they just want to buy a shirt. And I'm just like, well, I'm trying to talk to these people. Like,
Right.
I want to talk to all my fans as much as possible.
Yeah.
Like before I quit my job, I had merchandise and I just never sold it because I would have rather just enjoyed talking to fans. And I love watching wrestling. I watch the shows like the entire time.
Yeah, that's another
Like,
thing I heard when I was researching you is you said you try to every show you're on, you try to watch the whole thing. if you can, if it's possible.
Yeah, if I can, I always watch the shows. So like, I don't want to be worried about trying to push some shirts down somebody's throat.
Yeah.
Like, that's not who I'm. Like I said, like the second that I'm no longer wrestling, I shut off and I go straight to my normal self. So I'm not sitting there like slinging shirts. I'm just like, hey, you guys want to? Oh, thank you for buying a shirt. And then it's like, I'd just rather talk to you about that stuff.
What'd you like?
Like,
Yeah. Um,
but,
you
yeah,
said
I
something.
don't. But don't like. I have a Facebook. Don't add me because I won't add you. I don't.
I don't use I use Facebook for my parents to see pictures of the girls, and
I use it for
that's it.
family, and like I have a lot of like with all the stuff that's going on right now. Like, I don't delete my friends over their views,
Right.
but I delete fans because I don't know you.
Right.
So like if I don't want to see that, I'll just
Right.
gladly delete you. Like I have like 700 friend requests sitting in my box. I just don't. I'm like, sorry, I'm not gonna add you probably. Like I don't want to have to deal with like all this stuff that's going on, and like
Yeah.
and you see something very negative about everything, it just puts you in a bad mood. Like I took a couple days off
Yep.
Twitter because Danny Havoc passed away,
Yep. Yep.
and I loved Grant to death. He was such a great person. And then like all the other stuff I kept seeing online of people just being rude, I'm just like, I can't deal with this. Like I
It's
just need a couple days off and
it's
just
just so negative.
just to breathe. Yeah, like people are shitty. People are very shitty. It doesn't. They all come. They're like all walks of life. Wrestling fans too. Like they're just shitty sometimes. And like
People suck.
I'm a very like my wife and I are very uh we're very we advocate for like Black Lives Matter a lot. Like and people weren't too thrilled with that type of stuff. I live from a small town where it was like all lives matter. I'm just like, nah, bro. It's like you can go fuck yourself at this point. Like I don't want to have to deal with it because like my niece is her mom's black and obviously my brother's white.
Yep. Yep.
Like and I'm just like, yo, if like I don't want my friends to have to go through what people are going through, like in like police brutality based off their skin color. Like I don't approve of that one bit. So like my friends have to do that. Sometimes my friends don't have voices. And then I also look at it as like my niece because she is a year old now, I think. And what happens in 20 years? Like
Mm-hmm.
what if my niece was shoplifting a candy bar,
Yeah.
you know, and that stuff like that happened. Like I could not like I just could not deal with that. Like the fact that we live in a world with that type of shitty people and this that people don't consider what's going on. Like just shut the fuck up. It's George Bush said it best, and I hate George Bush with a passion. Maybe we should just stop lecturing and start listening.
Yes, we
And
should
that's what they
listen.
need. People start listening. Like why are we lecturing people? Just listen. I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
There's a reason why this protest is really big. And it's not even a protest, that's a movement. It's the
It's
reason why it's big.
rebellion.
Because it's time for us to start listening and stop being fucking egomaniacs. Because it's always centered around us.
Yeah.
Let other people do their talking.
And it's like my daughters are 11, 7, and 3. So having like I don't have we first of all we don't have cable, and I don't have the news on in the morning. Not because I'm hiding them from the stuff, but it's just hard. We tried to explain it to the older one, like, hey, they're doing this. Like she asked what Black Lives Matter meant. She literally said that to me, and I tried to explain to her what was happening and what was going on, and it just sucks. Trying to explain it to her sucks because you can look in her face and she's got this look like that doesn't make any sense why people would act like that, do that, uh, and all that stuff. And it's shitty that she has to be in a world like what's happening right now. And
Yeah, like my mom was like all lives matter, and I was like like so like my wife got into her a little bit with it, so like they kind of like stopped talking about it. But then when I'm better at explaining things in a more comment, I don't get loud. And my mom's like, well, all lives matter. I go, no, they don't. I was like, because I'm like, when Black Lives finally matter, I was like, then
yes,
all lives will matter.
that's right.
And then I told her, I was like, imagine, because Briella is my niece's name.
Yeah.
I was like, well, what happens in 20 years if Briella stole something, like something small, and they killed her because,
Right.
of the stuff like this. And she's like, well, then I'd go beat the shit out of that cop. I was like, I know. I was like, and that's the way we feel. It's like me and you, we never had to deal with,
Yeah.
if we stole something, we know we're going to jail,
Right.
or we're going to get thrown in the cot and then get a slap on the wrist. Like a person of color doesn't know that. Like they might, like when I get pulled over, I'm just like, oh man, I'm fucking late. I'm going to have to pay a fucking fine. And like there are people of color out there, when they get pulled over, they're thinking, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
Like that. And like, I don't want my niece living in that world. So, and I don't even want my friends. I don't want strangers living in that world. It's like, it's not being free. That's for sure.
No, I totally agree. And, I can hear the passion in your voice, and I think we could probably talk about this for another hour, but I don't think either one of us really want to.
I don't have the lung capacity, especially I normally go to bed sometimes I go to bed pretty early, just depends, but
yeah, I do the show Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. The other nights of the week, I'm in bed by now. Those girls, they'll wear you out, man. Holy cow. You're going to have a blast. I'm so excited.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I would have rather having a little girl, but as long as the baby's healthy, that's all that matters to me in the end.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I've been asked every kid, did you want a son? Did you want a son? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, I never even crossed my mind. Like I didn't care. I just, as long as they were healthy and they were here, it did not matter to me. But we're done. We're not having any more. 3. Good Lord. I can't handle the 3 I got. So, I have enough students. If I want a boy, I'll go to my students. They can hang out with them. All right, Mr. Deppen, I've kept you long enough. Get you to your book. Let you read. Oh, is that a Synergy shirt or is it just a color?
No, this is my own shirt.
Your own shirt. Repping your own shirt.
Yeah.
It is a nice shirt, but
A Bad Brain shirt.
There you
rip
go.
Off. Because I rip off all punk bands because I'm very uncreative.
Oh, we didn't even get to talk about music tonight too. That's the other thing I learned about you. You enjoy the music scene. We could talk about that another time, another day, another time. You are on that Synergy First Responders show, and I wanted to mention it a little bit more, but that's okay. We can do it another time. I'm also going to have Colin West on here soon, so I can talk with him about it. But the link's up there. Mr. Deppen, I want to thank you for coming by tonight and giving me your time, because time is precious. And thank your wife as well. Hopefully, is she feeling well?
Yeah, she's not sick or anything like that. That's right here.
Hi.
There she's. Hi, how are you?
Good.
She doesn't have morning sickness too much. She had it at first a bit, and like her appetite was really bad. Like when she couldn't eat anything. She ate like a third of a piece of chicken, and she'd be like, "I'm full. I can't eat anything." Yeah. Now her appetite's way better. She engulfed a Euro pizza, like a half a Euro pizza yesterday, so by herself. So her appetite's back and good.
She eating any
real pain.
Weird things yet? She eating anything weird that she's never eaten before? Just had a craving for?
No. She's extremely picky, so like if she doesn't order chicken fingers, then I'm just like, okay, she's getting a weird craving now.
Yeah.
Because that's all she eats.
Yeah. My wife had those weird ones. All right, I'll let you go. You guys can get to going. Do what you need to do. Thank you very much, sir, and look forward to some great things. Me. Yeah, wonderful. See you around.
See you.
Yep.
That was cool. That was a really good one. She's cool.
Man, that was a great show. I felt I had having so much fun talking with him. I could have gone another hour. It was great. Oh, there's my glasses, right there. These are my show glasses. These are my real glasses.
This guy's called the Standing Streamer.
Brian Zane from Wrestling with Regret, and you're watching Putting You Over.